Welcome to this great podcast. It's called How Do We Human? My name is Evan Cox.
My name is Chris Benning.
Welcome to How Do We Human? It's the podcast where we overanalyze all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox. I can't change it up. We gotta go in order.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris Benning.
Today we're talking about those Olympics. I've got 3 rings. Chris has 2. We're gonna put them up. Now we're gonna have 5 rings, and we're gonna light something on fire and run through town.
Yep,
which they love in the mountains. Not a fire hazard at all. But before we dig in to America's greatest exhibition.
That's interesting that you think the Olympics are America's greatest exhibition as opposed to like a global phenomenon. And
We'll
also,
talk
as of this
about
recording,
this.
we're like number 6th in gold medals.
Yeah. There's still time.
You're not wrong. This
is America's time, baby. Before we get into why the Olympics make me weirdly patriotic all of a sudden.
Yes.
I want to ask Chris, how are you doing? One of my favorite Americans.
I'm doing all right. This is a story from many moons ago because I have been so backed up on stories. So pretend for a moment that Inside Out 2 just came out.
Okay. In my mind, it did, because I haven't seen it.
Granted, it's not super relevant for the story, but it just kind of puts you in place. The movie theater employees, they're all wearing Inside Out themed shirts for some reason.
Are they wearing their shirts inside out?
No, that would have been good.
Because then you could look at your coworker and say, he's wearing his shirt inside out too.
Yeah, you're right. But no, instead, customer service employees are wearing a shirt that has anger, as angry as he can be on it, in
Nice.
big, taking up the whole shirt. I definitely want to be on my best behavior here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to see a matinee Monday showing of Inside Out 2.
Okay.
And the theater I go to now, I've all but abandoned AMC because they, as far as I'm concerned, at least the one closest to me, have become like the Walmart of movie theaters, which is just like you pay to get in and then anything goes.
They abandoned you.
Exactly. We make movies better, my ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now I go to a Regal cinema, and Regal has its problems. Namely, a haphazard, long as shit pre-show that starts when the movie is at the movie show time. So
yeah,
you get to run through like 25, 30 minutes of ads and trailers. And they're mixed in. So it's not even like, oh, the trailers have started. Now we must be close. It's like we run some trailers and then we got to advertise Mountain Dew. What are we doing? Anyway, all of this to say, this used to be an ArcLight cinema and now has reopened. It's been open for a year as a Regal cinema. And I don't think the general public knows that it's reopened because it's usually very empty in there, which is what I love to see. Bad for business, but great for me.
For Christmas.
Anyway, I'm showing up to see Inside Out 2. I am the only person walking into the lobby. There's nobody at the concessions. It's just me and the employees.
Great.
I'm walking up to get my popcorn and my drink because I got used to purchasing concessions when I had Movie Pass, and now I can't stop.
They got you.
They got me. Anyway, another theater lets out their showing of what I'm assuming was also Inside Out 2. And a swarm of children and some chaperoning parents come out, and they all cut right in front of me to get their concessions.
What the hell?
Just whatever. So they get their like free refills of their popcorn, and then they start leaving. But one of the chaperoning parents stays there and starts asking all sorts of business questions of like, hey, if I'm bringing a big, summer school field trip group over here, what are the different things, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm the only other person who's now just waiting.
Yeah.
And every time she'll be like, okay, thank you so much. She'll turn around. She'll see me waiting behind her, take 2 steps as if to leave, then turn around and be like, well, one more thing, one more question, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you can even ask the questions as I get my popcorn, but like, what are we doing? I'm the only other person here. So it's not like if you walk away now, you'll never be able to talk to this person again. I don't know. It was a very weird, like, she would start to leave, I'd start to step forward, and then she'd cut ahead again and be like, actually, let me ask you something else. It was very it's very annoying, especially as somebody, as I think you are as well, but a person who like sees the line and is like, you know what, for the good of all these people in line, I'm going to walk away, even if I am unsatisfied and have more questions or something's wrong with my food or whatever. For the good of everybody waiting, even if it's one person, I'm going to walk away.
I'm going.
So it was very challenging to see the opposite of that behavior presented directly in front of me.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I was like, give me your shirt that says anger on it, because that's how I'm feeling right now.
Give me your shirt.
Give me your shirt. Give me your shirt, because it's how I'm feeling.
This is how shirt works. Smooth shirts.
This is how shirts work.
Give
me.
Give me that.
Evan, I'd love to know how you're doing.
I'm doing okay. The thing I was going to talk about is also food related. But I do have to say first, because it's top of mind. It happened yesterday. The first time I knew it was going to happen. And by happen, I mean it almost happened. I almost fell down the ladder coming down from this. And every time I'm walking down that thing, I'm like, if I ever fall, I'm breaking my back. It's a long enough fall. I would break something.
Evan records up in a loft in his place, and there's a ladder to get up and down from there, and there's a sign from the owners that's like, "Don't come up here." And Evan does it anyway for you, the listener.
Now, we talked about it with the landlords. They're like, "Yeah, no, absolutely. You go up there, do whatever you want with the space. It's just that is not insured." And so you are not covered up there. If, say, someone slips and falls, that's on you, brother. So I've taken on that risk. And it almost happened yesterday. I just missed that first step. It was just, I've gotten too confident on it. It's the same with me and spills. I have a misplaced confidence.
You almost spilled your whole body.
I did. Missed that first step. Flew out to the side, held myself on the rail, swung my foot up, and slammed my whole body into the side of it. But I did not fall. But my arms and my foot feel like shit.
Get ready, chiropractors of the mountains. Evan's coming.
I saw my old chiropractor. I was down in LA recently, and I actually got an appointment with him. It was so good. He's had a kid since I was there. Chubby little boy.
Is it yours?
It's mine. My boy. But I'll make this quick. I felt okay rambling about that because this is a quick thing to say. But I had, speaking of that time I was in LA, I had lunch with a coworker because Chris was unavailable. I texted him, and he's like, "I have to work."
Yeah.
Bullshit. So I had lunch with a coworker. This was a completely different day. It actually has no relation to that. I just wanted to call you out. And so, he texted me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to grab lunch after this?" I'm like, "Shit, yeah, let's do it." And I went to a place I hadn't been before, a lunch spot. And he got a sandwich. I got a sandwich. I got a BLT. He got a tuna melt. This fucking guy. He's a pal of mine, so it's cool. This fucking guy ate his food so fucking fast. And we're like talking, and if I'm talking and eating, he seemed to have this magical ability to talk and eat at the same time without seeming like food's flying everywhere. He looks like a slob. He's just like quietly eating. And so I, stop eating, answer a question or ask a question, take a bite. The next thing I know, he's done, and I have 3/4 of my sandwich left. Now what? And he was joking. He's like, yeah, people say I eat fast all the time. I'm like, no, that's abnormal. And now you've got to just like carry on a one-sided conversation because I feel like we've got to go. We can't just sit here for another 20 minutes while I eat my BLT bite by bite. I'm stuffing this thing in my face. I mean, I got sweet potato fries. I'm stuffing those in my face. So, I'm sure it's a little awkward for him because he says this happens all the time. But I'm just like, what do you do? I can't eat that fast. I hate not matching my eating partner.
Eating, it feels like walking or driving speeds also, where like if you're going too slow, it's like, come on. But if you're going faster than me, it's like, are you in a rush? And if you're going the exact same speed as me, it's like, I mean, you can change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
but like, there's no good way to do it, but except for the way that I want you to.
I think that was the problem with it was because he finished early. I did have that feeling. I immediately went to like, oh, he's got to like be somewhere or something.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and we had the fastest lunch ever. That's all. Pace yourselves, people.
Yeah. Speaking of pacing yourself, that's athletic related.
You've done it.
Something else athletic related is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Do you have Olympic fever, Evan?
Man, I kind of do every time. And every time the Olympics are gone, we were just talking about this before recording. Every time the Olympics are gone and they're getting ready to come back, there's a lot of bad press around the Olympics, what it does to a city's economy, how many people it makes shit in the river. I don't know how much you're following that news.
I mean,
River.
Just a tiny bit. I know that they had to postpone one of the events because there was too much shit in the river. It wasn't safe.
There was a concerted effort among people in France that did not want the Olympics to be there, that all got together and timed their shit taking in the river so that it flowed downriver directly to when they were testing it.
I mean, I respect that.
I love it.
We'll talk about how the Olympics are coming to LA next time, but I would fear that if we were to do something like that to the LA River, that the tests would come out cleaner. Would be my fear. So we'll have to think of something else.
Something happens to the LA River. Is there more water in it?
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, outside of that, every time it comes by, whether I'm expecting it or not, this year I wasn't expecting it. I'm normally more of a Winter Olympics boy. And by this year, I mean this, 4 years. Blah, blah, blah. I love this shit. I fucking love it. And I love
Yeah.
having something. It's the same way I get around March Madness, where it's just like, I can have the TV on in the background all fucking day and walk past and see someone doing something wild. I saw an event every year I see an event that I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Last year in the Summer Olympics, it was my introduction to like horse dancing, which I'm like,
Oh yeah,
glorious.
The Mitt Romney
Yes.
delight or whatever.
This year, it's like whitewater canoe or whitewater kayaking.
Yeah, where they drop you off this like this ramp,
and then they've
straight
got
into
like
the water.
Poles that are obstacles, so people are like rafting around it. What the fuck is this? How is this an event? I don't know, but I'm happy it is. Yourself, you got the fever.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Olympics. And I feel like we used to be a big that's a cowbell for anybody listening audio only. But I feel like growing up we were a big Olympics family, and then after, like, the last one I remember watching was the London Olympics in 2012. I mean, I've caught like bits and pieces of Olympics since then, but the last one I remember being like invested in was the London one.
Okay.
And this year is the first time since then that I'm like watching it every day.
Yeah.
You alluded to it earlier, but I am never more patriotic than when the Olympics are on. And I'm never more into sports than when the Olympics are on. Those are the two things that it brings out of me.
Yeah.
I do have some bones to pick with the Olympics, and it's not even the Olympics really, as much as it is the monopoly that NBC has on covering them. When in my opinion, they're not covering them especially well. Their coverage leaves something to be desired, but I am pretty invested in the Olympics this year, and I hope that we can start getting some more gold medals on the board. I'm used to us being first or second in gold medals, and I think as of last night, when we were as of recording this, as of last night, I think we were at number 6. We had the most medals total, but as far as gold, number like 6.
Looking pretty bronze.
Yeah, right, a bronze heavy year so far.
Yeah.
But there's a study that was like, bronze medalists are happier than silver medalists, and boy, could you see it in a lot of these.
Oh, 100%.
In a lot of these finals, you can see that the bronze medalist is arguably as happy as the gold medalist.
Yeah, silver, a lot of tears for silver.
Yeah.
I can't get enough. I love it. To talk like, well, we could talk a little more about the patriotism side of it, because it is weird, because I'm not used to that. I'm not an unpatriotic person. I'm just patriotic in a normal fashion, which is not of the fashion.
Recognizing
nowadays.
That there are still problems here.
Yeah. I am happy to live here, but there's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But it's been good to me. Straight white guy. Been all right. But like, yeah, you do just find yourself like USA. USA. Yeah. We're getting Simone Biles out here winning gold. She's doing it on a hurt calf for the rest of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Gymnastics, though, since you bring up Simone Biles, I will say gymnastics is maybe like the event I understand the least. Because they'll do something and I'll be like, that was incredible. And then the commentators will be like, oh man,
Ooh,
pretty rough out there.
pretty
Lots of
faulty landing.
mistakes.
That turn's supposed to be really easy. Just didn't quite make it.
Or they'll be like, you see that hop that they did right there? That's going to cost them. And then you'll see another routine and you'll be like, okay, well, this one definitely is. I saw them do the hop, so they're probably going to get penalized. And it didn't look quite as clean. And then it'll be over, and the commentators will be like, "Unbelievable, spectacular!" And that hop, that's not a big deal at all. And it's like, what are you talking about? What are the rules here?
I need rules. Yeah, I think any event, it's like getting the basics of like that is a good point in terms of how NBC's presenting it this year. There's not a lot of, unless you're watching from the beginning and they happen to talk about it, there's not a lot of introductory stuff as to how this sport works. Namely, I've been watching a lot of badminton and volleyball, and I'm like, I know they have to be like 2 points up when they win. What the fuck are they playing to? and both times I've had to Google, and they're different answers. I think badminton's 21 and volleyball's 25. Just have that graphic on the screen. You've got the scores up there. Just say plays to 25, must be 2 over. It's weird. But no, I had the same feeling actually watching Simone Biles, and I'm not talking shit because she's amazing. But I watched the thing and it was like, oh, the landing was rough. And I'm like, yeah, she hurt her calf. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But they're like freaking out because and the way they explained it was like, that's the most difficult thing you can try. So it's worth more points. So even if she botched the landing, it's worth enough points to get her gold because she did it. I was like, all right. Yeah, gymnastics is wild. Yeah. I love it.
The thing about NBC and their coverage of the Olympics, I don't know why they don't like show at least a little bit of the medal ceremonies, especially when like we win gold. They like don't want to show it. They'll show a handful of them. Like last night, they were like, "Hey, this guy from Ireland won. Let's show his medal ceremony." It's like I like to see it because it's like I don't need to see the whole thing. By the way, I don't need the full national anthem of every country. I don't need it. I just want to see people on the podium, and I want to see what their faces look like when they get their medal and they get their big moment. Yeah. Whether it's gold, silver, or bronze, I want to see all their faces, and I want to see how emotional it makes them.
And then I want to see one of them not get a medal and make a Chewbacca noise.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I want from the Olympics: is more Chewbacca moments. And that's the official stance of HowDoWeHuman.
Yes,
more Chewbacca moments in the Olympics, please. Anyway, I don't understand why we don't cover some of that. I saw a wild theory on Reddit because I was curious if there was a reason or a statement from NBC that's like, here's why we don't do that.
Yeah.
And found that this has gone back through like 2010. There are articles that are like, how come NBC not showing our medal ceremonies?
Interesting.
It's like every Olympics that it comes up again. And I think that there's a reason that they're not showing the whole medal ceremony, which again is I don't care about the whole medal ceremony.
Right.
I just want like a highlight reel from each medal ceremony, basically. Yeah. But the reason they're not doing the whole thing is basically they're like, this is bad for airtime. People just standing around looking at flags. But I don't know why they're not doing shorter things. There's also this theory on Reddit that's completely unsubstantiated, but it is the only
It's the Reddit way.
like thing that somebody posted, because the medal ceremonies that I've seen so far on NBC have never been when we've won gold. It's only been when we've won like bronze, maybe silver. And the theory on Reddit is that NBC doesn't want blowback from only the Star Spangled Banner being played. Because I guess at some sporting events they have played the Star Spangled Banner, and then also, and I can't remember what this song is called, but colloquially it's like the Black National Anthem.
Sure, yeah.
And so NBC allegedly doesn't want the blowback from only playing the quote unquote white national anthem. Lift Every Voice is the name of that song.
Interesting.
Yeah, again, an unsubstantiated claim, but it's like literally the only claim that I've found.
I mean,
it's not like one of many theories, or it's not a theory many people have said. It was one comment on one Reddit thread. That's the only explanation anyone has offered.
That person might be smart. They also might be 13.
Also might be racist.
Racist.
I don't believe they were 13, because that comment said that was their husband's theory. So I don't see a lot of 13-year-olds commenting online pretending they have husbands. So that's my theory for why they could be a little older.
All right. Interesting. I feel, I mean, NBC has so much history of sports broadcasting. Like, if you got two big things going on at the same time, there's a little thing called picture-in-picture. And all I'm saying is which I have been, if I just plop myself on the couch and it's suddenly 3 hours have passed because I was watching badminton or whatever, like, I want to, that's the end of it. The end of it's not like, oh, they won, they lost. It's like, no, I want to see the medal ceremony. Just, even if you picture it. And I would say, for me, if I'm watching straight
instead of using picture-in-picture to also just run ads.
I hate that. Too many ads. I don't know. Not how I would run things, NBC, but they didn't ask. But speaking of watching an event for a long time, I want to talk about two things. One, the awkward side of the Olympics. Awkward. I think this is sign language for Apple. Why did I do it?
Apple.
I don't know. Can't tell you.
That was Apple.
But there is something to being it'll get there this week. Being a high school track and field competitor.
Yeah.
And now being 80 pounds heavier and severely out of shape, almost falling off the ladder coming down from my office, to watching, which will come up this week, watching the events I used to participate in. Now, I was never great. I wasn't like first place winning. I think I came in third once. That was exciting.
Nice.
And there was also a day when I was a jumper, long jump, triple jump, mostly. And there was a time I competed where only 2 people were competing. So I got the silver. I got the silver that day.
Yeah.
It was me and a guy who was really fucking good.
One of those rare instances where silver is happier than third.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, The
Yeah,
bronze medalists didn't exist,
they
but
didn't.
still happier.
We gave it to a ghost, and they
Yeah.
were sad.
Um, I can imagine that. Nothing that I competed in, like cross country. They don't really. I mean, there are long distance running events, obviously,
Yeah.
including the marathon. But I I can imagine that you watch that and you're like, man, if only I was way better at the thing I was doing, that could be me.
There's a delusion to it for sure, and I hope that's a relatable thing for any high school and or collegiate athletes. That it's just like, in retrospect, it feels like, oh, if I had just made one or two tweaks, I could have gone
Mm-hmm.
to the Olympics. And that's not the case. Olympians live sad, horrible lives. Their every waking moment is training for something that comes every 4 to 8 years, depending on your event.
Yeah,
And
but then they
then,
get to go to the Olympic Village where allegedly they all just have sex with each other for 2 straight weeks.
I mean, that could be me.
NBC, I want you to cover this stuff.
I mean, for sure.
I want more Chewbacca and I want more Olympic Village Love Island drama.
We collectively, what we're calling for is Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's right.
Get it on our TV sets, NBC. The event I was referring to, watching last night, and this will date it. Everyone will know exactly when we're recording. The triathlon, the women's triathlon. Now, I've been a longish time supporter of the Winter Olympics triathlon, because they make people do athletic things and then they give them guns. And that's funny to me. I think it's downhill skiing, cross country skiing, and then shooting. Which is why that event could be anything. Like, now play a game of hockey.
Yeah.
But no, they give them guns. And so this was my first time like watching a full summer triathlon. It's the hardest event I can imagine. Like, it made me feel ridiculous, especially when in the middle. So it was 2 hours from the starting gun to when people were crossing the finish line. It was roughly 2 hours. Like, I had to get up to pee in that time. I'm just here like, I just ate dinner, getting up, go to the bathroom, sit down. No, they're still going. It was ridiculous. They had to swim shit river, so that's a bad start.
Yeah.
I forget how far it was, but they swam it was an average of 15 minutes. Which, if I swam for 15 minutes, I drowned. And I can swim. I know how. That would kill me. But no, then they get on bicycles. And they ride their bikes for 25 miles. And then they run.
Yeah.
And here's my big sticking point. Is this not a quadrathlon? Because, so, they're swimming. Their bikes, they have little shoes locked into the pedals. So they get on it, clip their shoes in, and they go. Meanwhile, it rained that day. There were so many accidents. And this was interesting watching right after we talked about cycling and how little interest I had in watching the Tour de France. And then became captivated watching people literally ride their bikes around France. But there were like so many accidents because people are slipping and sliding left and right. I was like, oh my God, I started worrying for people. But after the bike ride, calm little 25-mile bike ride, they have to run. They can't take those clippy little shoes. There's a transition period where they have to stop and put on shoes. Now, many days, that's the most athletic thing that I do in a day.
Try on shoes?
Bending over to put my shoes on. I call this a quadrathlon.
I guess they're not really trying them on. I guess they're like a Foot Locker
every
employee
morning
come out after they get off their bikes.
I expect my
bring out
feet
the
will
little
change
sizer.
sizes. That would be so great. They just have to run into a Payless. But then they ran 7 mile. No, it was 7 laps of a little over a mile each, I think. So yeah, more than 7 miles. Wild. And then at the end of it, they all just crash on the ground, and there are dead-looking bodies strewn across Paris. It's, I don't know. It was crazy looking, and I don't know if it made me want to get in shape, but something happened. It made me feel bad about myself.
So to clarify, you think it's a quadrathlon because they bend over to put their shoes on? Okay. I just wanted to double check.
And they didn't have shoe horns. Give them shoe horns. But here's, and then I'll stop talking. This is the most recent thing that I got heavily invested in. And I found this part heartbreaking. Because there are accidents, people crashing. They've got, like, on the bike, they have a water bottle in the little water bottle holder. That's good, gotta hydrate. But then you crash. And it's like, you gotta try to get back up on your bike. And half of the people that crash, the gears fall off the bike. They're having to put the chains back on and shit. But I watched this person fall, and their water bottle just shot across the track. And I just saw the look in her eyes of trying to get on her bike so fast, realizing her water bottle was all the way over there, and start walking over there. And I'm just like, that sucked. If you're it was a situation of if she really wanted to compete, she had to ditch the water bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's terrible. That shouldn't be possible. People are falling down, and the gel that runners will eat is in their bras, their sports bras, and they'll fall, and it falls out, and they have to collect all their shit. This, it looks terrible. And then at the point that the first people switch from bike to running, a little horn goes off that lets all the other competitors way back there know you don't have a chance. And the people on TV were saying because she was a former triathlon runner, or runner, swimmer, biker, talking about the event, and she's just like, yeah, that's mostly to let them know they're out of competition unless they kill themselves. And so they just look at it as a training day, and they just finish the race.
Huh.
What are we? I don't think I care about anything enough to put that much of myself into it, and that sucks. Maybe, or it's good. I don't know.
You kind of briefly mentioned some commentator stuff. I want to get back onto NBC for a second. I think every event has one commentator who is desperate to recreate the do you believe in miracles moment from the 80s,
the miracle,
I believe,
Miracle on Ice.
I think that there's one announcer in every event who is so obnoxious and loud and constantly talking and hyping everything up. The events I've seen the most this year so far have been swimming and gymnastics.
Okay.
And, those are the two events where it's been most prevalent in my eyes of wow, look how fast he's going underwater. Underwater times unbelievable. Or when the, as the internet has dubbed him, the men's gymnastics pommel horse sleeper cell agent. gets up to do his routine. Unbelievable. It's just like, I mean, I am also feeling the like enthusiasm, but it just something about it really rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know why.
I think it's that it takes away from if something is truly incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they're doing it because they know those are highlight clips and they want their broadcasting career to take off. Exactly. And it's not about you. Your Olympics are over. Your life's done. You're never going to do anything again. It's gonna hurt.
My age, and you're old as shit now.
You're my age, but in your field, that makes you the oldest person alive. They were on the triathlon. There's a woman who, Flora Duffy. She's from Bermuda, who was 36 years old. It's 1 year older than me. Well, actually, it's like just a few months older than me. I'm almost there, baby.
You're almost there.
She's in a record number of Olympics. I think she was participated in 5 Olympics and came in 10th. But they're just talking about it like, oh, here goes the racehorse we're about to shoot. Here's her last ride. There goes Flora Duffy. 36 years old, just couldn't quite hang on with the pack. It's wild. It's wild stuff.
It's interesting. I don't know if this is just me being old, but like I feel like with the exception of Simone Biles and maybe Katie Ledecky, and I'm discounting like the basketball team where it's like
LeBron James, and Kevin
people
Durant.
I know, but like I feel like knowing Olympians' names is much rarer now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or if I'm just out of touch.
I think it's because we're not watching NBC. We're not it's just the internet, the way it works now. We're not getting all of our news and shit from the same place, where it's just like Michael Phelps was amazing and did all these amazing things, and he smoked a bong once. But he was an amazing swimmer.
Hosted one of the worst episodes of SNL.
God, I forgot he hosted SNL. But like you would just hear about in the off years of the Olympics, you would hear about Michael Phelps like every day after that or in between those major medal years for him. And that's not as much the case anymore. Like you might follow some of these people on social, and so you're like Jocelyn follows that one, the woman from the rugby team. She's being very fun and funny over there on TikTok, showing backstage at the crazy Olympics Village. And so like you could follow a person. Like I feel like nowadays we're all more interested in following a person that we like and relate to or find relatable.
Sure.
Whether or not, and granted the rugby team won bronze and it's the first time America's ever, I just found out we had a rugby team. It was news to me.
I saw them win that medal last night, or at least in the highlight reel, and this is the same kind of thing that I'm talking about with the commentators, though. Of like, this is the first time that they've ever gotten a medal in this event, and blah blah blah. This is incredible, and yes, that is great that they won the medal, and yes, it is the first time they do it. But at the end of this little highlight package, they're like, women's rugby has been in the Olympics since 2016. And it's like, okay, that's less than 10 years. And we're like, unbelievable, the drought is over. Like, what are we doing?
I was like, I didn't know that. It isn't, because I've had that come up before. I think it was when they were talking about Flora Duffy, where they're like, mention it. Like, anytime you're talking about the Olympics, they're like, there's a difference between saying like she did this at the Tokyo Olympics or saying that year. But there's also just the difference between that and saying like she hasn't done this since 2008. It's like, yeah, but the Olympics have only happened a few times since then. Right. That's how it works. That's not that crazy, actually. We would all have a hard time at our jobs if we only got to do it once every 8 years.
Right.
Be like, oh yeah, I'm not quite at my best anymore.
I have so many more things that I want to talk about, but we are starting to go long here. I'll try and do them quick, and not in. This is not in an order of importance, so apologies.
I have two things I want to say.
Important things I want
both
to talk
will be
about
quick.
Cut. Great. Number one, have you noticed what is like the advertisements during the Olympics, I guess, is what I want to briefly touch on.
Okay, so
why are the two biggest advertisements Jesus and artificial intelligence?
It's weird. It's weird. The AI ad in particular.
Why are we like AI? AI, can you write me a fan letter for this person I like?
This is the most insane fucking commercial I've ever seen. And for those of you not watching the Olympics who haven't seen it, it goes like a dad who's got a daughter that wants to write a letter to a famous Olympian. I haven't paid close enough attention to know who the Olympian is.
Oh yeah, I don't either.
But she's like, I look up to her and I want to be like her. Now, in the past, that Olympian would have had to get a letter riddled with spelling errors and kid speak saying, I want to be like you. And that might have like warmed their heart and made them want to respond back. This ad suggests that the dad should run this through Google's AI system to have like a properly written like resume for this little girl.
And have it end with like, someday I'm going to beat you or something like that. It's like the way it ends is like, I'm going to be better than you one day.
And the athlete's
is this
like,
a fan letter or is this a threat?
It's terrible. It's insane that Google looks at that as like a plus.
Yes.
Where would that be better? In what world would getting this AI written letter be better than just getting something from a little kid that idolizes you? Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because that commercial blew my fucking mind.
That commercial is deeply upsetting to me.
And those, the Jesus ads play during the NFL all the fucking time.
Okay.
He gets us. They're a bad company.
I wondered
but they have a lot of money.
If they had, and maybe this is true, but I guess if they play all the time during the NFL, maybe it's not. But I wondered if they like drastically upped their ad playing after the opening ceremonies when most of their base was deeply upset by the 3 frames of the opening ceremony.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the opening ceremony. So
yes, I have things to talk about it as well.
Let's get there. I'm here. I have not sat and watched the entire opening ceremony, but piecing it together from the things I've seen, this might have been the greatest opening ceremony of all time. Mostly,
I think Beijing still has that title for me.
I cannot stop watching, and I can't believe it happened. The best medal of the entire Olympics, not gold, not silver, not bronze, Gojira, one of my favorite metal bands, a French metal band, performing the most insane shit I've ever seen.
That shit ruled. I'm not gonna lie, that was awesome.
Headless Marie Antoinette singing a French Revolution song. It ends with blood spurting out from the building. That
ruled.
They're playing at the towers from a building that it used to be the prison where Louis and Marie Antoinette were held before they were executed. It was the most metal thing I've ever seen, and I was so proud.
Yeah, no, that part was awesome.
Awesome. And the other, I mean, go like when I just hear it went straight from that to drag queen performance, and I'm just like, this is. I know LA. This is what LA's should be, but it's not going to be. LA's opening ceremony should be Slayer going into drag brunch, and I feel I'm going to be let down by it.
I think that LA's is going to let me down also, because I think like they were really cool pieces of the Paris opening ceremonies, but I felt like it needed to be a little bit more sharply made, I guess, is the
See,
especially
again,
the torch
thing.
runner, the cloaked torch runner that they have running through the city doing parkour on all the buildings. Like the way that it's shot a little too like commercially, and I think that stuff would have ruled if it was like, you know, hey, Tom Cruise is there. Just like give that shit to the Mission Impossible team to like do these cool stunts. It would have ruled.
So I haven't watched the whole thing straight through.
Yeah.
All I've seen of the Torch Runner is that they show him during that metal performance, and he looks like the Grim Reaper. So they just show him from the back, and it looked pretty cool.
Something that you may not know is in the opening ceremonies that I will spoil for you, because I think that this is more upsetting to me personally than the drag fashion show, which was fine. Like I understand that a lot of bigots are upset about it, but it really like was not a big deal. I saw the outrage before I saw the moment, and they did not equate.
Yeah.
Especially when, and I know there's debate on whether or not that was the Last Supper or if that was some like Dionysus painting. I'm not sure.
I'll have to.
But there's like the Last Supper, but it's like Ronald McDonald and other fast food characters. There's like a Looney Tunes Last Supper. Like a recreation of the Last Supper is not anything new.
No.
Anyway, what I want to point out in the opening ceremonies that like I found upsetting, I guess. The fucking Minions are in this opening ceremony, Evan.
I did not know that. I'll have to see and judge for myself. Instant reaction is I'm down. I've never seen any of those movies, but I enjoy the Minions.
I mean, I understand why they're there. Illumination's animation is based in Paris, so it is like a part of the culture, and of course the Minions
they're a part of French history.
In addition to their gibberish, they have some French
Sacre bleu
thrown in there. And of course they say banana.
Banana, je ne parle pas français.
Let me see. Okay, I've got two other things I want to talk about.
All right.
And I'll try to make them quick.
I will shout out. Shout out to Celine Dion. That made me cry.
Celine Dion was really great.
That was amazing. That's all.
But we could do probably a whole episode on like the opening ceremony. But anyway, this is something that I saw a tweet of like a year or decades ago, or a decade ago, excuse me. That is like the Olympics should be done like jury duty, where like to see which country is really the best, it should be like you send random folks over. And I don't know how it would work if you like just have to slot them into events, or if whoever's chosen gets to pick events. I don't know. But if you were drafted into the Olympics, Evan, what is the sport you are hoping to get, and which would be your least favorite to compete in?
I love this question. And I want to say, did you read this tweet from this year, or this was older?
This is an older tweet, but I'm sure it's something that comes back around.
It must.
We were talking about the Oscars before this. Like every year, somebody will tweet that the Muppets should host the Oscars, but that
Yes.
concept of tweet has been around for
I've
a long
already
time.
seen it this year. Because I'd had that thought and then saw like, oh, everyone's having that thought at the same time. So it probably happens every year of just like, it would be so fun to just have an Olympics that is just randos that have zero experience with these sports. That'd be very funny and fun to watch. If 'twere me,
a return to your teen years. You want to go to skateboarding?
God, I would hurt. I would hurt myself so bad. I was going to say return to my teen years would have been the jumping, but I'm just like between both skating and jumping. Maybe the reason my knees are so fucking bad. My knees and my ankles are fucked. So I would want to be careful. If we're all randos.
Yeah.
The event that I have more recently put any sort of effort into getting better, like as a workout, is swimming. So I could take on the breaststroke.
All right.
Or freestyle.
I like it.
I think that's where I would lean. Everything else, I mean, that would kill me. But everything else, I think I would hurt myself before I could finish. Yourself?
I put me in badminton. I think that's where I'd like to go.
That too. I love badminton. We used to have a badminton net when I was a kid. It was so fun, and watching badmintons made me want to play. But the commentators mentioned that it's the fastest sport in the world, and they were like a fastball.
I don't know. Table tennis looks a little bit faster.
It looks, but the difference being the space. Because they were saying, like, baseball, a pitcher throws a fastball, you're averaging 90, 93, 95 miles per hour, and they're 60 feet away, I believe. 60 feet away from the plate. Badminton, it's going an average of 150 miles per hour, and they're 40 feet from each other. So it's...
Yeah, I mean, fair, but it is also... Like, again, we're all getting drafted into as randos. I don't think the shuttlecock is going to be going 150 if it's all randos. So I'm going to still take my chances with badminton. I don't know which one I'd want to be in the least. Probably one of the like wrestling ones, but
yeah. Oh no, that sounds not good. That would hurt.
It's also embarrassing. This is not... I have one thing after this, but this just popped into my mind very briefly. For a whole country where, like, guns is our whole thing, why are we so bad at these shooting events? Why can we not get on the podium?
Great question. And probably...
I think every American should have their guns taken away until we win a gold medal in shooting.
This is a great... That's a tweet. That's a fantastic thought and a fantastic point. And I think, a lot of these, and I'm not, whatever. I know a lot of people that own guns, but like, I think a lot of these people that are real gun nuts, they're just like, have a bunch of like, I'm ready to start a militia. They can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
So that's why we can't win gold.
Fair enough.
Love it.
Would you still have something left?
I have just one more thing, one quick thing to share, and that is since I worked at the horse racing track, which would have been 2009, I think. So that many years.
Cool.
Can't do the math. I started a small country Olympics pool that I do with friends. And have been doing, I think I've ended up doing it every Olympics since then, where we get a list of countries that have 10 or fewer participants in it. And we all, with randomized order, this year we did like snake draft, picking 2 countries based on your order. And, gold medal's worth 3 points, silver's 2, bronze is 1. As of this point, and we're pretty deep in already. Not a single medal has been won amongst any of the countries we've picked. But I've got Albania and Mozambique.
All right.
Mozambique's
We'll
got
be
a
pulling for him.
couple of boxing matches today, I think. So
okay,
I've already gotten out of a couple of events, missed qualifiers. So we'll see. There's, I think, $150 on the line.
Well, the last thing I want to talk about, the Olympics, as we mentioned, are coming to Los Angeles in 2028. Yeah. Are you... I know that you've kind of moved away from Los Angeles,
True.
Evan, although you're still in the Southern California area. Are you excited for the Olympics to come to LA? Are you going to try to volunteer? Are you going to try to go to an event? What are your thoughts?
Well, the main thought at this point is that I'm almost certainly not going to be in California anymore by 2028. So ways to go. We'll see what happens, though. But that aside, I think a big part of it is like, when it was mostly talked about when the Olympics went to Brazil, that it's just like, this just fucking decimates cities, and a lot of Olympic hosting cities never recover. And I'm like, LA's huge. LA's not well built.
No, we are not at all equipped
remotely for this. Ready, I don't think. I think this is going to be a shit show. And then found out like they're also using what's the name of it? That little area in Long Beach where they do the races. I'm like, they're going to bring the Olympics to Long Beach? That's not going to be okay. But if I were living here, I 100% would try to go to an event because, I mean, kind of outside of me suddenly getting a crazy amount of money and having the freedom to travel wherever I want at any time, kind of a once in a lifetime chance to go to the Olympics. But yeah, I think it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I think that we're not equipped for it at all. In John Mulaney's Everybody's in LA special, he had a joke about LA hosting the Olympics, which is essentially like going through everything that is weird or broken about LA, and then being like, and then imagine them like having us host the Olympics. That would be like if your friend was like, I can't remember the exact quote, but something to the effect of like, your friend's house is on fire, and they're having a mental breakdown, and then you made them host the Olympics. Like, that's...
Yeah.
We're not equipped for it. It would be cool to see an event. I know my wife is like big into Olympic fever.
Okay.
She's much more than me. And I know that she would really like to volunteer.
Interesting.
At like the opening ceremonies or something. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. There have been like things that I've seen where I'm like, okay, I could volunteer and do that job. Sure. I could be the guy that gets loose swimming caps out of the pool if they've fallen off. I could hold one of the flags during the opening ceremony. Sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I want people to see, as I say, I would do that event if I don't want all of the world to watch me swim. Swim down to the bottom of a pool, try to find the cap. I don't think I'd be good at that.
I don't think I'd be good at it either, but once I got it out, I would definitely present to the crowd as if that was my event. Have them go wild. Because I'm a narcissist.
Throw the cap into the crowd, start stripping.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Make a meal out of your moment.
Absolutely. I guess we really are starting to go long here.
But
I don't
really
think
are.
To sum up, we're not ready for the Olympics, but I guess there's a chance you could see me and or my wife on the 2028 Olympics as non-competitors.
And there's a chance you see me as a competitor competing in the breaststroke.
Yeah. That'd be a phenomenal story, Evan. If you now started training for the Olympics. I think you should do it.
I love the idea of it. I think that was Mae Martin, like, coded like a documentary with a friend of hers who's also a comedian who had basically done that, like, from ground zero, trying to train to become an Olympic figure skater. I love shit like that. The challenge of just like, from right now to 4 years from now, how good could I get at swimming?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Right? Well, stay tuned to this podcast in 4 years, and we will have that update for you.
We'll have an answer.
You can listen to these episodes on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, HowDoWeHuman.com, anywhere that you get your podcasts. Rate, review, comment, subscribe, follow, any of those things. All of them are helpful to us, boosting us up in those algorithms so that more people can listen to us and we can get Olympian levels of followers. You can check us out on our social media. We're on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman.
We got that handle.
Facebook at HowDoWeHuman.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
YouTube at HowDoWeHuman.
Put that handle into your address bar.
Leave us a voicemail at 323-657-9896.
Discuss things with us. Discuss. Discuss
things with this. Or send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it is an email address.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, now it's time for our trivia game here. Last week, I shit the bed. I overthought some things. If looking back at that episode, if I had really been playing my smartest game, I still would have lost points to you, but I could have maybe gotten 2 out of 5. Certainly 1 out of 5.
If we had
instead went with 0.
Those commentators watching me hit my stride, they would have been like, "It's a miracle! Yeah. The miracle of Quizzle!"
As a reminder, we're playing to 100 points. The current score is Chris with 72 points, Evan with 67. After a phenomenal round last week, 4 out of 5. And speaking of 4, our previous guest, Dustin, does still have 4 points.
We should have Dustin back on, like, when we're both in the 90s. Like, we're 1 game away from winning or so, just to give him a chance.
All right, Evan, let's see if you can repeat your impressive showing from last week. And let's see if I can get a single question right.
Feel good about this one.
All right. Who had the ring immediately before Bilbo took it in The Hobbit? Elrond, Gollum, Sauron, or Frodo? You said you feel confident about this, yes?
This is correct.
Okay. I am much less confident than you are. I am not big into the Middle Earth goings on, the comings and goings of the Shire. I have a guess.
Oh boy.
And so I am going with Gollum because that seems right in my heart, but I could see it being any of them except Frodo.
Don't let the ring cloud your judgment. Yeah, no, it's Gollum.
All right. Huzzah.
I was going to do a Gollum voice and couldn't think of what he sounded like. It was just...
It definitely doesn't sound like that.
Well, no. That I was going more for Kate Blanchett. But I was about to do a Jar Jar voice, and now I can't remotely think of how Gollum talks. This is Gollum. What's Gollum's voice? It's very imitable. During World War II. Prisoners wearing a green triangle in a concentration camp signified the prisoners were what? Christian, criminals, Russian, or the SS?
I have no idea.
Green triangle. I've got a guess.
I have one too. No. I don't love it, but I'm going with my first thought on this.
I've talked myself out of my first thought. And I wonder if that's a mistake.
I'm going with Christian.
I'm going to go with criminals.
All right. Christians are criminals.
Yes!
It was criminals. Good job, Evan.
Whew.
This could be interesting. This could be a late surge from Evan Cox to win the game.
My precious.
If he continues to perform this strongly.
Yeah.
What astronomical aid takes its name from Greek words meaning far-seeing? Telescope, galaxy, space, or star?
This feels obvious, and I don't like that.
It sure does feel obvious.
But there have been some obvious ones in the past, so I'm just going to say telescope.
Telescope is also my answer.
Let's not overthink this
my
one.
Justification being that's the only astronomical aid.
Right.
The rest are just things in space.
Bad question, Quizzle.
We got it though. That was an easy points for us to get there.
Okay, this is we're swirling franchises Evan loves. What is Goldfinger's first name? Fabio, Gregory, Benjamin, or Auric?
This is again another one that like I don't really know. I have a guess. I don't love it. But my guess is Auric, and I don't really know where that's coming from in my brain.
I love the James Bond franchise. I do not feel as confident as I would like, but I do feel like 90%, which is pretty good. And I think you're right. I believe it's Auric.
Yep. That is correct. All right, Evan, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but if you get this last one right, you'll have gotten every single question correct. What sports lingo, speaking of the Olympics, what sports lingo uses the term bonspiel? Rugby, fencing, curling, or cricket?
Bonspiel. Not that I ever took Latin. But going from like Latin roots, I almost feel like I understand what this term means, and it doesn't make sense for any of these events. So I'm trying to like.
I'm between two.
Spiel.
Man, but I don't know which one of those two it could be because they don't feel that similar, or maybe they're too similar. I don't know. I mean, my high school German, there's a word or a piece of Bonspiel that I know what part of that means in German, although it's not especially helpful here.
Are we both talking spiel?
We're talking spiel,
which is like talking.
Well, in German, spiel can also be like play or game.
Oh, interesting. I never took it.
So German. I'm between two. I'm between rugby and cricket.
All
and
right.
I'm trying to figure out where I want to land. Man, I'm struggling.
I will say...
Have you locked in your answer, or have you decided on yours?
I'm not remotely confident. I know multiple former competitive fencers. My brother-in-law, borderline Olympics ready. knows all the fencers that end up going to the Olympics. Former guest Patrick Gremion, also former fencing competitor. I've never heard this term in relation to fencing, but it is where I'm going.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why after we're done.
I'm going to go... I think I'm wrong, but I'm going to go with cricket.
Okay. That was one of my other 4 guesses.
It was curling.
Curling
So
was my second.
Neither of us gets that last point.
My reasoning being bone spiel, especially in these Paris things, sounded kind of French to me, and there's a lot of French terms in fencing. I love curling.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're missing it in the Summer Olympics.
All right, this changes the score here. This now means that I have 75 points. But perhaps more importantly,
come on,
it means that now Evan is at 71 points.
Ooh, okay. I'm closer, but I was hoping for 69.
You overshot it. You got too many questions right.
Don't give me Lord of the Rings and James Bond questions. I'll smoke you all day. Not that you didn't get both of those correct also.
I did.
All right. Well, we gotta get out of here. I do want to throw out, and I don't know, maybe we can do that soon. We need to do maybe like a draft or something of what we think of a long game, long con. We love a long con. What we think will be involved in the 2028 opening ceremonies for LA.
Oh, sure.
That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But until then,
okay.
Biathlon.
Biathlon. Biathlon.
Biathlon.